Good morning, or should I say good afternoon? Yes, good afternoon. Yogis and yoginis, I hope you're all doing really well out there. And I'm hoping that maybe this might be one of the last remote practices that we do together, although we may see one more. We at the club and at the Clouds are contemplating our reopening and how best to do that. So for now, we're going to practice back on my back porch. Happy to be back outside. The weather's beautiful, and I hope that the sounds of the birds and the bees flying around will integrate a little bit of nature into the practice today. So this practice has no particular title. It's just going to be a practice for everyone. So I invite you to come onto your mat, get your mats out. You can put your mat vertical so that you're facing me on your screen. I am going to have a double mat so that I can demonstrate better in poses where you need to see the back of me and not just the front of me. Also, if you have dictionaries or encyclopedias, nobody has those anymore. I'm sure I'm telling my age there. Anyway, boxes, pillows, something that's sturdy that you can have to press down or make the floor higher, then that would be good. And also a folded blanket like so with a nice edge on it for your sits bones. And also I think that's it. I think that'll be good for today. We're going to begin our practice in a seated position, so I invite you to come down into your seated position with your sits bones on the edge of that blanket, and just settle in and settle down and drop out of the doing part of your day so far and just drop into being present here on your mat. And we're going to start out with a breath practice, as I generally do, calling the awareness to come into the body. So just becoming more aware of your body and how it feels in space. So this breath practice is called Sama Vritti breath, and it's equal inhales and equal exhales. And I'm going to not practice it for very long because I want to get on to movement here, and movement is important, and I want to get on to movement. Got a piece of paper here I need to slide under my mat for a minute. Anyway, so come into easy sit. Let your hands rest on your knees. The wind is beautiful here. It feels so good. Close your eyes and imagine the wind blowing in your face. I'm not sure where you're practicing today, but maybe it's outside. Maybe you have that breeze blowing on you. Take a moment and just feel your breath before we start to change anything at all. Just feel the breath moving in and moving out. Soften your shoulders. Loosen your jaw a little, soften it so that you're not clenching your teeth, so that your cheeks don't feel tight, your neck is loose and soft, your chin is tipped a little down towards your sternum. That's where we want it to be for our breath practice. Sama Vritti, harmony breath. So this breath helps to bring some quiet to the mind, harmony into your life, just a little bit of awareness into your body, and it helps to release some anxiety. So as I said, this is going to be equal inhales and equal exhales, but we need to start out, and if you need to open your eyes now, we need to start out with a nice tall spine. So we don't want our back to be rounded here, because this causes compression here in our lungs. And we don't want to be sticking out with a tip of our tailbone, because this is a little bit uncomfortable to maintain. And if you try to take a deep breath here, it's not really possible. So what we need to do is sit on top of those sits bones, have our hips lifted just a little higher than our knees, arms resting, crown lifted, chin tucked, and take a breath in that fills about 50% of your lungs. And then exhale that 50% out. Another 50% breath. Another 50% exhalation. And then take 2 short, quick breaths. An inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And then take the breath into the very fullness of your lungs. So take in that 3 gallons of air. And then make the exhale of equal length, releasing the breath. Now you can feel how the lungs can expand to their fullness when you're lifted in the torso, when your spine is long. Breathe in fully, breathe out fully. Perhaps you're counting to 6 on the inhale and 6 on the exhale. Maybe 8 on the inhale, 8 on the exhale. And continue to find that even breath, that harmony breath, sama vritti. Your lungs, when you're breathing deeply, your lungs should just be hanging like ripe fruit from a tree. So there's no compression, no pressing down on the lungs, no pressing forward with the upper body, but just nice and tall through the crown, sits bones pressing into whatever you're seated on, crown of the head reaching for the heavens. Inhale and exhale, same length on both. Soften your shoulders, soften your palms, soften your fingers. Let your jaw be slack. And take 4 more of these inhales and exhales of even length. And feel yourself relaxing into the mat, relaxing into your seat, relaxing into the moment, relaxing into the practice. Remember, the inhales are filling the lungs completely, and the exhales are emptying the lungs, the same length as the inhale. And after your next exhale, open your eyes and begin to do a little Sufi grind. I always like to start out with this. It's very relaxing. I think it puts you in the right frame of mind. If you're in a seated position, to move forward with your practice. Let your head and your neck and your shoulders become fluid along with the movement. And reverse. And a few more revolutions, and then we're going to come to a stop, and we're going to move off our blankets and come onto our hands and knees. Middle of your mat, toes touching, knees apart, and drop down into a wide knee child pose. Bring your forehead down. Breathe into your back body. Inhale, lift your head. Walk your hands all the way over to the left. Drop your forehead down towards your knee. And crawl those right fingers forward. Breathe into the right side ribs. Inhale, center. Exhale, walk those hands all the way over to the left, or to the right, to the right. Drop your forehead down. Curl those left fingers forward. Breathe down the side body. Left side body, left back body. Inhale, walk your hands back to center. Reach those fingers forward, stretch that upper body. Imagine that your hands are glued to your mat and you're trying to pull them back towards your knees. And then come up into neutral tabletop. We're going to do a little hip opener here. So we're going to come into frog pose. You need to bring your knees out to the edges of your mat. You need to turn so that the inside of your ankles rest along this edge of your mat and that your toes are pointed in both left and right. So I want you to feel your inner knees pressing down into the mat, the sides of your feet pressing into the mat. And then I want you to lower, 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 lower. Bring your hands into prayer, clasp your hands, let your index fingers point forward, and drop down as low as you can go here in this frog pose. It's like your buttocks are trying to reach the floor. And I don't want you to shy away from the sensation that you might be feeling in the inner groins. Breathe into it. Embrace that sensation, and then take some breaths into the sensation and let the sensation move out through the hips. And then come forward. Bring your knees together. Walk your hands back towards your knees and come into hero pose, seated on your heels. Now this is a place where it's not always comfortable for folks to sit. You might not be able to sit on your heels. So if you have that big thick book or a block, you can place it between your legs so that you can sit on the block. Or if you have your folded blanket can come between your calves and your buttocks, and you can sit on the folded blanket. So that gives you a little bit of a lift. You have those options. So come into that spot here in hero pose. Take a nice big inhale up. Clasp your fingers together. And imagine that you're pressing your knuckles up as high to the sky as you can. Now try to avoid shrugging those shoulders up. Keep those shoulders down. And then imagine that you're trying to pull your fingers apart. We've done this in other practices that I have on the channel here. Don't forget your breath. And then let's reach over to the left, stretching as deeply as we can into that right side body. Inhale to center. Exhale, stretch over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, reach those knuckles toward the front of your mat. Spread your shoulder blades apart. Drop your chin to your chest. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades, and then inhale, open wide. Clasp your hands behind you. And lift those hands up, up, up. Open your heart, open your chest. Stretch across your pectoral muscles. Stretch across your deltoids. And give your heart some space here. And then one more time, let's inhale up. This time, clasp your hands and turn your palms up toward the sky. Breathe. Find something to focus on, a focal point. Maybe something on the screen that you're seeing, a tree, birds. Reach towards the left. Inhale up. Exhale, reach toward the right. Now remember that you're lengthening through the side body, so breathe to help that lengthening process occur. Inhale back to center. Exhale, press the palms of the hands forward. And then inhale, open your arms into cactus arms and squeeze those shoulder blades together in the back body. Bring that left hand down. Reach the right arm over. Press into that left hand. Notice how my left arm straightens as I reach with that right. And then I'm going to turn my chest towards my mat. And then I'm going to inhale, turn my chest toward the sky. And exhale, come back to center. Inhale, bring that left arm up. And exhale, bring their prayer hands to heart center. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Bring the right hand down. Let the left arm reach this time. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Now notice if you can see that as I breathe, you might not be able to visualize it, but I feel those side ribs open with the breath. And then tip your heart space down towards the mat. Inhale, rotate your body so that your heart shines on the sky. And then exhale, come forward. Inhale, bring the right hand up to meet the left. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, bring the hands down. Take a moment to observe for a minute. I'm going to turn sideways. We're going to go into our camel pose. So remember, camel pose can be a hand on the hip. It could be toes turned under, a hand on the lifted heel, or it could be toes turned down and a hand on the grounded heel while the opposite hand reaches. So you have three options here. Inhale all the way up. And let the left hand find the left heel. Reach the right arm up and stretch and open through the front body. Breathe. Your gaze can be to the side at the horizon. Your gaze could be up. Inhale. Bring the palms together. On an exhale, let's take that right elbow all the way over to the left side of your mat and turn your body to face the left. Press into your prayer hands and keep from sinking down into your shoulder. So you're really pressing those hands together. Rotate that body towards the left side. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, neutral tabletop. Inhale, right arm lifts up really high. Exhale, thread the right arm under the left arm. Come down into thread the needle pose. Now I like to hold on to my left hand here with my right hand with my left, so I can really roll towards that right shoulder blade. And then I'm going to lift that left arm up. I'm going to find the right side of my waist and the top of my right thigh. Go as deep as you can here, but remember to keep that top shoulder pulled back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring that left hand down. Inhale, bring that right arm up. And exhale all the way down. Take a nice big inhale, rise up. On the exhale, let your right hand find your holding spot. Waist heel or grounded heel. Let the left arm reach behind you. Breathe. Inhale, hands together. Exhale, left elbow finds the right edge of your mat. And twist that body. Use the grounded elbow to help you maneuver your body into a deeper twist. Breathe. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, left arm threads under the right. Come down. Get really heavy on that left shoulder. You can hold that left hand with the right and then roll a little bit towards that left shoulder. Get a better stretch here for your subscapularis and rhomboid. And then inhale, right arm lifts, wraps around, finds the left side of the waist or the top of the left thigh. Breathe. Let your breath come in, those inhales and exhales, filling the lungs. Try to keep them of even length, continuing on with our Samavriti breathing. Release. Bring that right hand down. Inhale that left arm up, reach, and exhale down. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale into cat. Inhale into cow. Let the movement be initiated with your tailbone, ending with your head and neck. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Turn your toes under and exhale. Let's come into downward facing dog. Hold your downward facing dog. Spread your fingers. Spread them really wide. Shake your head no and yes. Draw the chest toward the thighs. Allow those heels to aspire down towards your mat. Full deep breaths. Let go with audible exhales, fallout breaths. Anytime in the practice to help bring the nervous system back in line. And then let's drop the knees down and take that left foot all the way to the front of the mat. Now with the left foot all the way at the front of the mat, I want you to slide that right leg back until you can't get this knee any further than right over your ankle. If your knee will go this way over your ankle, you need to slide that right leg back just a little bit. I want it directly over the ankle. Bring your hands to the thigh right above your knee. Press forward. I want you to think about this right hip bone, and I want you to press that right hip bone forward. Drop into that left leg. And feel that stretch all along this right hip flexor. Use your breath. Use your breath. Drop your hands down to the inside of your foot. Right here. Inside of your foot. And then on an inhale, I want you to turn towards your bent leg, lifting that left arm up. And then on the exhale, I want you to bring it down. When you bring the left hand down, I want you to take the left hand and move it behind your heel. And then I want you to move that left hand behind your heel or behind your calf and over by the little toe side of your foot. And then if you can, I want you to bring your left hand over your toes. And then I want you to bring your right hand over your left and drop that forearm on the right arm down and breathe. Lizard pose. And then unwind. Keep your left hand where it is. Turn your right toes under. Lift your right knee up off the floor. Now you can stay here or you can turn onto the ball or you can turn onto the side of your right foot behind you. And lift that right arm up. When you lift the right arm up, extend that left arm out underneath of you. Lift it up off the mat. Coming to a flying pose. Bring the left hand down. Bring the right hand down. Take that left hand and move it out from behind the leg and bring it over onto the little toe side of the foot again so that your hands are framing your foot. Turn onto the ball of that right foot behind you and pull that right kneecap up. And on the inhale, rise up and reach. Drop down into that front leg. Stretch that back leg out. Breathe here. And then on the inhale, step the right foot forward. Bring your hands to prayer. Draw your prayers to heart center. Big breath in. Exhale with a fallout breath. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Come into your first forward fold. Take some deep breaths here. Keep the back of your knees soft. Let your head dangle from your neck. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale to a forward fold. Step back with your left foot. Step back with your right foot and come into high plank pose. So in your high plank pose, press the floor away. Roll your heels over the balls of your feet. Now you can modify by dropping your left knee down here. If you don't care to modify, just roll your weight over onto the side of your left foot and onto your left hand. Right arm comes up. Full side plank. Lift the top hip up. And exhale. Bring the right hand down. Roll those heels over the balls of your feet. Pull your kneecaps up. Touch your knees down. Flatten your toes out. Slowly lower down. And inhale. Come into cobra pose. Exhale. Come back into neutral tabletop. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale, come back to neutral tabletop. We got little bugs flying around today. Let's bring that right foot all the way forward and get that right knee over the right ankle. Hold and breathe. No changes yet. Just kind of dive into sensation when you get to a point in the practice to see what you're feeling. Perhaps you're feeling tight here in that hamstring. Perhaps you're feeling tight in the groins. Don't forget your Samavriti breathing, inhaling and exhaling equal length. And then we're going to bring the hands on the thigh and rise up through the crown. At the same time, press that left hip bone forward. Soften your face and your jaw. Bring your arms up. Exhale, bring both hands down to the big toe side of the foot so that your hands are next to each other. And then on an inhale, we're going to lift that right arm up, turning toward the bent leg. And then on an exhale, we're going to bring it back down. And this time we're going to take the right hand, bring it behind your heel, right heel. And then take it around the back of your calf, over by the little toe, And then maybe bring the right hand over the right toes. And then bring the left hand over the right hand. And turn your body towards that bent leg. Coming into lizard pose. Breathing. And moving into the sensation rather than trying to move away from it. And unwrapping. Coming back up and bringing your hands to frame your front foot. Well, I think that maybe one more time we're going to bring this right hand back over. So back behind your heel and around. We're going to do one more thing. Turn your back toes under, lift your back foot up. You may have to move it up. Maybe turn onto the side of that back foot. Inhale. Lift that left arm up. And lift that right arm up off the floor. That right hand up off the mat. And come into that flying posture. Bring both hands down. Now we'll frame that front foot with both hands. Come on to the ball of the foot behind you. This is a balance practice when we come into our crescent moon pose. So make sure that the knee stays over the ankle in front and that the back knee pulls up so that the quadricep engages to support that femur, that standing pose we're getting ready to do. On an inhale, sweep up. And come into your crescent moon. Soften through your face. Back heel aspires down towards your mat. Fingers are spread wide. You're not letting that front knee move inward, keeping it tracking toward the little toe. And then on an inhale, we step that left foot up next to the right. Let's reach behind us, coming into a standing back bend. Anuvasana. Reach. And exhale. Bring our prayer hands to heart center. Take some good deep breaths. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Step back with the right foot and step back with the left foot and come into your high plank. Rolling the heels over the balls of the feet. Pressing the floor away, pulling the core in. And then dropping the right knee to modify, or simply shifting the weight over to the side of the right foot and onto the right hand as the left arm lifts, top hip lifts, crown of the head reaching forward. Exhale, return to center. Drop your knees, touch your toes. Exhale, slowly lower down. Bring your forehead down. Touch your big toes behind you. Fingers are spread wide underneath your shoulders. Inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest. Keep your ribs grounded. Simple cobra pose. Strengthens the lower back. If you keep repeating this, lifting and lowering, lifting head, neck, and chest, and lowering, lifting head, neck, and chest, that will strengthen the lower back muscles. Now you can stay here in simple cobra, or you can choose to peel your ribs up, but leave your belly button on the ground. Keep your big toes touching behind you. Keep breathing. Peel your belly button, but leave your pubic bone on the floor. Keep your big toes touching. And then exhale, lower it all back down. Turn onto one cheek. Bend your knees and let your legs windshield wiper side to side to help reset the lower back. And then bring your legs back down on the mat. Bring your forehead back down on the mat. Lengthen your arms out so that they're lying down by your side body with your palms down. Bring your forehead down to lengthen the back of your neck. Take a nice big inhale. And on an exhale, lift that left leg up behind you. Keep your left hip bone plugged into your mat. Keep your forehead grounded. Reach that left leg out. Doesn't have to come up high. Keep that left hip bone grounded. And exhale, release. Inhale, lift that right leg out behind you. Press the left leg down into the mat. Press the right hip bone down into the mat. Breathe. And release down. Turn onto a cheek so that you can get a couple of breaths here before we go into the full expression of the pose. And then come back onto the forehead. Take a nice deep breath in. And on an exhale, lift both legs up behind you. Press out. Press your pubic bone into the mat. Lift your head, neck, and chest like you did in Cobra. And breathe. You can lift your arms. And release it all down. Turn onto one cheek. Bend your knees. And let your legs windshield wiper side to side. And lower your legs. Bring your hands under your shoulders and press yourself up and back and come into child pose. Hold your child pose. And breathe into your back waist. Notice what you're feeling along the back side of your waist. All of the poses that you just did, all of the back bends in your Cobra and in your belly down boat and in your Shalabhasana poses, all are cleansing for the kidneys and balancing for our adrenal glands because it affects that area of the body. So take a moment here and let that flush happen in that area. And then bring your hands forward to frame your head. Excuse me, press yourself up, back onto your hands and knees. Slide your legs out from underneath of you and come into staff pose. I'm going to make this practice today a little shorter so that it uploads a little faster. And you can add other things to it. There's lots of things on our YouTube channel that you can add to it. I have several shorter practices. I have a pranayama practice that you can add to the end of the practice if you like. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to come onto our backs. We're going to do a little bit of stuff on our back. And if you're close to a wall, it would be great that you can finish up the practice with legs up the wall. And if you're not, you can move. You have time here enough to move your mat over close to a wall so that you can slide your legs up the wall in Viparita Karani pose. It's a really good pose to bring the blood flow back down into the body and to drain lymph and help with swelling in the legs. Just a nice relaxing pose. But from here, our staff pose, we're going to lower back down. Oh. I'm in the sun. I'm going to have to move down a little. Lower back down. Bring a big breath in and reach those arms overhead. And on an exhale, we're going to draw that left knee into the chest. And take a couple of breaths here with the knee into the chest to massage the descending colon on the left. We'll take our peace fingers and we're going to hook our big toes and we're going to come into half happy baby here. So happy baby is drawing the knee toward the underarm here. It's not a straight leg, it's a bent knee. Right leg is extended out. Back of the neck is long. So we don't want our chin pointing up toward the ceiling or the sky. Then we're going to take that left foot in our right hand, take our left arm around our left knee, and we're going to draw that leg in close to our bodies, like we're rocking a baby. Breathe. And let's open that left knee out to the left. Give that adductor, that groin, another stretch like we did at the very beginning in our frog pose. And then back to center and extend those toes up to the sky. You can clasp your hands behind the thigh or behind the calf as long as you can keep your shoulder blades grounded and draw that straight leg back toward the body. Rotate that ankle a few times, both directions. Point and flex that foot a few times. Draw that leg back just a little tighter. Feel that hamstring, and then release and let that left leg come down on the mat. Notice the difference between the left side of the body and the right side of the body as far as groundedness is concerned. And then the inhale, we're going to take the arms overhead, full body stretch. Exhale, right knee into the chest. Draw it in, breathe it, spread those toes. The air is blowing out here, the wind is good. I can feel the movement of air between my toes. Full deep breath. Massage the ascending colon. And then take your peace fingers, hook your right big toe, and then let's take that right foot up. Bottom of the foot faces the sky. Knee is moving towards the underarm. Left leg is grounded. Breath is coming in equal inhales and exhales in Samavriti, harmony breath. And then we're going to take that left hand and grab the right foot, and the right arm is going to wrap around that knee, and we're going to draw that right leg in like a baby that we're trying to rock in our arms. Breathe. And then we're going to open up that right knee out to the right. Inhale to center and take the toes to the sky. Find your holding place behind your thigh or your calf, but not behind your knee. And draw that straight right leg towards the body. Breathe into the restriction. And don't shy away from sensations. Soften the shoulders and the jaw. Rotate the ankle. Point and flex that foot. And then stop and draw that straight leg a little closer to the body. And then release and let that right leg come all the way down. Bring your arms overhead, big stretch. Slide your feet wide apart. And then like you're making a snow angel, let your arms come down, resting away from the sides of your body, palms facing upward. Take a deep breath in. And exhale with an ah. And then if you're in a position to move over to a wall and bring your legs up a wall, try to get your buttocks. If I move too far away, you're not going to be able to keep me on your screen. But you got to get your buttocks up. Imagine that this block is the wall. You've got to get your buttocks up on the wall and bring those legs up. And hold here for as long as you like. Letting this be your Shavasana. If your arms are by your sides, turn your palms up. Slide your arms away from your body slightly. Breathe. Stay in this position as long as you choose. This is your Shavasana. And when you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, and it doesn't have to be just now, I'm going to end the video in a few moments, but you stay here and just try to take about 5 to 10 minutes to just rest here in Viparita Karini, legs up the wall pose, and allow all of this flow in your body, energy, blood, lymph, to move about. When your mind slips away into another place and another time, bring it back to your Samavriti breathing. Try to stay here for at least 5 minutes, and mostly 10. And when it's time to come out, you just draw your knees into your chest and move them down to the left or right. And stay there for a moment. Take 5 or 10 breaths in that position. And then finally, you will move yourself up to seated. But I want you to stay where you are. Listen to my voice. We will all be back together soon. But in the meantime, thank you for practicing with all of us at the Clouds Yoga Center. We love and miss all of you. And we look forward to a time when we're back together in the place that we all love to be. I will see you all very soon. Namaste.